Hello everyone, and now welcome to game number 2 between ZhouXiXi and WFZ. We see WFZ spawning as the blue undead player on the top right hand side of Secret Valley. Meanwhile, ZhouXiXi has spawned on the bottom left as the red night elf. Now game 1 between these two really came as a bit of a shock. I had expected WFZ to really win the early game very easily with that strong undead Death Knight, Unholy Aura Ghoul harassment. However, ZhouXiXi with that Warden was able to shut down much of that harassment early on, taking down a couple of early ghouls, and it never really felt like WFZ got enough momentum to really carry himself into the mid game. Now, I am expecting that WFZ may decide to change up his strategy, perhaps try and go for a ghoul opening, but this time use the Death Knight to do a little bit of creeping. There is a little bit more walking room between these two maps, or in between this map and on the spawning locations, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Meanwhile, it looks like ZhouXiXi is going to be going for the Warden once more, and most likely will be doing that Ancient of War creep. Now, are we getting any sort of scouting coming down? It looks like a Wisp is on the move, but still no ghoul coming in yet from the opponent, WFZ. That Wisp is going to do a little bit of scouting, and one thing to really be really to consider is that there are no mercenary camps on this map. So if all of a sudden WFZ decides to go for a strong harassment, it is because those skeletal minions will just be that much stronger. Alright, Wisp now appearing right at the party in time to see the Death Knight hop on out of there. No, the Death Knight just going to pop out right now, and we are going to be going straight into a Rod of Necromancy with a whole bunch of ghouls. Warden most likely going to clear out this creep camp with little to no effort. Claws of Attack +6. Warden is very close to halfway to level 2. And it looks like the Warden will finish off the Null Assassins here to get just shy of level 2 from this 5-3-3 creep camp. Alright, ghouls now going after the Null Assassins, and the Death Knight did use a Rod of Necromancy charge to try and tank some of that damage as the ghouls are now backing off. Death Knight could attempt to get that Tome of Intelligence. It looks like the Wisp is now backing off. There's the Tome of Intelligence, and the Null Overseer gonna be left alive at 375 hit points. Warden now making its way over, and is the Warden perhaps going to get off an easy kill here onto this skeletal minion? It looks like that will be the case. Only 1 or 2 more shots. No, gets it for the kill, and now level 2 on the Warden, as her experience is right on the money for level 2. Coming back around, you can see that the skeletal minions are looking for those Wisp. And the reason why the Wisp are not detonating themselves is that they know that, hey, if the skeletal minion has a chance of actually taking me out, then I want to try and keep that Wisp alive as long as possible. If the Wisp was going to fall, I'm sure we would just have a detonation there, as the Warden picks up the Ring of Protection +2 and steals the item. Alright, the Warden may end up getting surrounded, which is going to force a blink tech off of that Warden, as the Warden now blinks in order to get away from those surrounding ghouls. Alright, Death Knight now still wandering around here. Where is this Death Knight going to travel off to? Not 100% sure. That is a lot of ghouls and skeletal minions in this army here, and I expect them to fall down. Tome of Strength will be left behind. That Death Knight still just shy of level 2, as it did not take down the earlier level 5 creep camp. Now, what is the Night Elf player doing? The Night Elf may actually try and focus down the Null Wardens here at the Fountain of Health. Alright, there's a skeletal minion. Oh, the skeletal minion is just sitting right here. Does keep track of this army. The Night Elf Warden currently going to get up to 600 hit points, waiting for that skeletal minion to disappear, as the Death Knight is catching up in terms of experience. Ghouls finishing off this creep camp rather easily. Meanwhile, back over here, there goes the skeletal minion. Are we going to see some creeping? No, we are not. ZhouXiXi does have a number of archers here, and now here we go. That one Warden is really absorbing a bit of damage. Alright, taking down some more units. There is another Ring of Protection +2, and that is going to be some huge armor on that Warden. +6 or +8 armor right now. or total of 8 armor right now, as the Null Brute is going to end up falling. Let's take a look back around. The Death Knight still wandering around here, getting very close to level 3. Meanwhile, the Warden is now attempting to focus down the Red Drake. The Red Drake is already down to 400 some odd hit points, and it will end up falling here as we are looking at the Archer absorbing some damage from that Red Drake. All right, there you go. Belt of Giant Strength, a rather nice item, as we are seeing that the Warden is now sitting at level 3. Belt of Giant Strength, 800 hit points on an 8 armor unit does add up to be a lot of effective hit points, as the ghouls, the Death Knight, may not be able to take it down. All right, in comes the Warden. Warden now looking around. Where is this Warden going to go? Perhaps try and chase after those Death Knights. Now backing off here. You can see off over here as well. We are getting the Ancient of Wonders, sitting at 29/50 supply. ZhouXiXi sitting at 27 now, and now getting into an Ancient of Lore, and the Ancient of Lore is going to be for those Dryads. Dryad Bears, very common in the Night Elf versus Undead army. Meanwhile, are we going to see Crypt Fiends and Destroyers, which is the normal counter? The Crypt Fiends counter the Dryads, the Dryads counter Destroyers, Destroyers counter Bears, and Bears counter Crypt Fiends. A whole full circle strategy there, as the Archers now have to be very, very careful. You can see that there is a Death Knight here seen at level 3. There is a quick Shadow Strike, and the one low hit point ghoul will end up getting taken down rather quickly. All right, a second ghoul could get taken down. Yes, there you go, as the Warden could try and blink after all of these units. The Death Knight is rather fast though, and will be able to get away, as the rest of the ghouls are now trying to attempt and get in the way of the Warden. Warden now looking to head back home, perhaps regroup for a very strong push. Death Knight still sitting at level 3 and could end up getting a 1-2 easy kill onto an Archer. Archers, Frost Nova and Death Coil will pretty much take down any Archer on the field, even if they do have a little bit of that magic resistance. Death Knight now running back off to the north. Is it going to regroup? No, now going after the 3-1-1 creep camp for this Lich. The Death Knight still sitting at level 3. We won't see any real leveling here, but we can still see some strong creeping by WFZ. Meanwhile, the Ancient of War is absorbing damage here as well. Ogre Magi now taken down. Ring of Regeneration. It could be a useful item, but you can see that with the Slippers of Agility and Ring of Protection +2, that Ring of Protection +2 also adding a lot of damage mitigation. The Warden going to have a very difficult time attempting to take down, the Troll Trapper is going to have a hard time taking down this Warden, as the Warden now heads back off to the north. Obsidian Statue is in play. Lich getting very, very close to level 2 now, as the Death Knight does decide to come over and steal a bit of the experience as well. All right, the Warden really wanting to just blink inside the space, sitting at level 4 right now. Are we going to see the Warden blink? That is the question. Yes, there's the blink. There is the Shadow Strike. And with that Shadow Strike, the Acolyte will end up getting taken down rather easily. All right, there goes one Acolyte. That Acolyte, however, is going to back off. There goes another Acolyte there, as that was a bad place for it to be. The Warden still going after some of these ghouls, taking a lot of piercing damage. And is the Warden perhaps going to get another Shadow Strike down? Yes, he will. And now finally using the Scroll of Town Portal. But I believe that this Acolyte will still fall, dealing 220 damage rather quickly. All right, we can see the Warden now sitting at -3 armor for a total of 2, but with the Ring of Regeneration still gonna come out of this pretty much smelling like a rose, as he also now picks up an Orb of Venom. Orb of Venom will allow that Warden to attack air, very important for those Destroyers later on. And the Ancients of Lore are being trained. There's one Ancient of Lore here and another off to the north here, as we are sitting maxed out at 40/40. All right, Warden now looking to come in and engage. There goes the attacks. There's a Shadow Strike, and the Warden now needs to back off. Scroll of Healing. Oh, a low hit point ghoul could have been taken down there. Is it going to get taken down? That is the question. There's a Shadow Strike. There it goes, as the Warden now still looking to just wander around here. Warden now heading off to the north. Meanwhile, Death Knight coming down in here to take down the Forest Troll Berserker. We are looking at obsidian statues, liches, the Lich, the Crypt Fiend, the Destroyers, the pretty much army that we expected from the Undead, still being led by ghouls. The counter is going to be Dryads, Archers, and Druids of the Claw. The Druid, the Bears, really need to deal a lot of damage here as the Dryads need to push back that Destroyer. Alright, there is a quick blink, blinking straight into that army, and oh, there is a very quick silence, and that silence pretty much came out of nowhere as the Dark Ranger shuts down that Warden early on. Alright, that fight did not go nearly as well as ZhouXiXi would have expected, as the Ancient of War now attempting to head back home, not going to be able to do so, and this is looking extremely, extremely good for ZhouXiXi, or sorry, not ZhouXiXi, for WFZ. ZhouXiXi is actually in a bad spot here. The Warden is in a really, really strange predicament as well, cannot really survive this fight, as we're looking at the Death Coils doing a great job keeping the units alive. Alright, what are we going to be seeing here? The Destroyer now trying to come in and take down a bear, but not able to do so. Oh, there goes another unit. Are we going to perhaps see the Obsidian Statue? No, down to 6 hit points. Does end up surviving. Dark Ranger now sitting at level 2, and there goes that one Obsidian Statue off of a blink. The Bears now need to back off, but no, the Bear not going to survive here as it gets Frost Nova. Alright, here you go. You can see that the Death Knight should have enough for a Death Coil. No, not quite yet, as there is a Destroyer in the air. Destroyer in a little bit of trouble right now, needs to back off. The Warden still does not have any Dust of Appearance. Otherwise, these low hit point burrowed Crypt Fiends would pretty much be down. Alright, there's the Scroll of Town Portal. Are we going to see an engagement? Are the Crypt Fiends going to come up in time? Yes, they do, as both Crypt Fiends pop up just as the Scroll of Town Portal completes. Very important there. Meanwhile, the Death Knight, still sitting at level 4, is attempting to do a little bit more creeping. There is a new Obsidian Statue joining in on this fight, as the Lich should get to level 3. The Death Knight is going to make it a little bit uncertain, as it is going to steal half of the experience, and I believe the Lich is just going to be a little bit shy there. Yes, 483 experience out of the necessary 517 experience shy. One Destroyer hanging out on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Bears wanting to clear out this creep camp, unable to do so as it was already cleared out by the Undead. And WFZ is looking extremely strong right now with a superior level advantage. Level 4, or level 4, level 3 pretty much, as that Lich is just a little bit shy in terms of experience. Meanwhile, the Warden is going to try to come in and for some harassment. And seeing at level 4, there may be enough. Alright, there is a quick Shadow Strike. There, that one poor Acolyte will not be able to make it, giving level 5 on the Warden. And once level 5 on the Warden is reached, that is going to be a very bad day. Level 5 on the Warden there, and we could see a Staff of Teleportation in order to get ZhouXiXi out of there. Here you go. And now what are we going to have next? Alright, you can see a bit of damage. There is a blink. There is a Shadow Strike from the Warden onto the Crypt Fiend. 225 damage plus the 45 damage every couple of seconds tick. That is going to eat away at this Crypt Fiend if he's not careful. Alright, Crypt Fiend, burrows himself, as you see another Crypt Fiend actually in a little bit of a predicament as well. There goes that Crypt Fiend, as the Dark Ranger sitting at level 2 still has not really shut down this Warden here. Warden sitting at level 5 may get to level, may get off another Shadow Strike, and yes, it does, onto the Dark Ranger. Dark Ranger ends up getting taken down, but at the cost of a bear as well, and a second bear may fall. The Death Knight now sitting at level 4. Oh, what is happening here? The burrowed Crypt Fiends just regenerating all of their hit points while being burrowed, as the Druid of the Claw now needs to back off. Alright, let's take a look at this. The Destroyer is attempting to take down this Wisp. ZhouXiXi's Wisp over here on the top left has been spotted. As you can see, a Frost Nova now laying waste to an Archer. All these units are now going to be backing off here. There you go. There you have it, as the Destroyers are using this map much more to their favor. WFZ now looking pretty strong, as ZhouXiXi is at 40 over 60 compared to 58 over 60. Undead losing less units and still having a larger army. All right, Dryads and Bears now making their way over. You can see that the Red Drake is ready to go. We are 15 minutes into this game and still too early to call to see who will really come out ahead. All right, meanwhile, back off to the north, it's looking like WFZ is starting to run away with this. If he's able to get all of the necessary items and taking down both Ogre Lords, I believe his item selection is just going to be that much better. Hood of Cunning, +4 agility. Oh wow, double hoods of Cunning onto a Lich. So high armor, high intelligence, and that means plenty of Frost Novas when the time comes. Alright, let's see. Bears, Dryads, and Druids of the Claw. Meanwhile, back over here on the top left, you are looking at the Warden now attempting to engage and take down some of these units. That is going to be a poor ghoul there getting taken down as we see a Frost Nova. Wow. That was just a complete unsuspected surprise. The Dark Ranger perhaps, I don't even know if I saw a silence there. That was just pretty much out of nowhere. Death Knight, Death Coil, Frost Nova fun. Hero nuking down the Warden, and now ZhouXiXi needs to resurrect his Warden somehow. He has 48 over 60 supply and gonna be doing it the old-fashioned way. Alright, that Warden now getting resurrected. Is this going to give free time to the Undead to perhaps take and expand their advantage? And that may be the exact problem. Level 5 almost for the Death Knight. Level 4 for the Lich. Level 3 for the Dark Ranger. As the Death Knight now charges on in here with the Obsidian statues still being a bit too far away. Alright. Destroyers looking to take down the Moonwells. There goes one. There are currently 3 left, as the army will have to come over to reinforce. Warden resurrected at the tavern, as there was not enough time for ZhouXiXi to get that Warden back up. And now the Death Knight is just in a wonderful spot here, attempting to take down taking down all of these Moonwells here. All right, Obsidian statue in the back. Dryads and Bears now coming in. Are we going to perhaps see some damage being dealt? The Crypt Fiends need to focus down. Level 5 on the Death Knight. Level 5 Death Knight. There is some mass detonation, and now the Obsidian statue is pretty much very low on mana. The Destroyers need to focus down these units, as there goes one Bear. Dark minions are being left behind, and there goes another Frost Nova, as there goes another Bear. So 2 Bears already fallen. The Crypt Fiends are burrowed, and they are getting healed, but the Warden now is up to level 6. Alright, Potion of Mana could actually spell way into Avatar of Vengeance. Who's going to win out? Is Avatar of Vengeance going to completely roll over their opponent, or is the mass number of heroes from the Undead going to be too much to handle? Avatar of Vengeance now rolling forward here. No real skeletons to use, which I am surprised about. There's Dust of Appearance, and now one burrowed Crypt Fiend goes down. There goes another, and 2 burrowed Crypt Fiends go down. That is potentially game-changing, as a 3rd burrowed Crypt Fiend goes down as well. The Warden very close to 7. As the Death Knight is about a quarter of the way to 6. Dark Ranger is at 3, and that Lich is at level 4. Alright, all of those heroes, level 5, level 4, level 3, going up against a level 6 Warden. That Warden could spell problems, as the Lich now trying to amass up more mana. Having more mana than hit points means that it is going to be rather difficult to try to limit the number of Frost Novas. Cloak of Shadows is now on that Death Knight, as the Death Knight still working overtime to try and clear out and get enough levels here. Alright, let's come back around. Let's see. The Warden is heading off to the north with a couple of Spirits of Vengeance. However, the Spirits will not survive that long trek, and once it does go down, well, I don't believe that WFZ is going to bring back any of his units. Robe of Magi +6. The Lich now up to 720 mana. Oh my goodness, if it can actually rapid fire those Frost Novas, that would be amazing. Alright, let's take a look. Lich sitting at level 4, Death Knight sitting at level 5, Dark Ranger sitting at level 3, almost level 4, against a solo Night Elf using one Warden only, and that Warden, however strong she is, I don't think can really handle the sheer tankiness and the sheer number of WFZ's units. Death Knight now wandering back over here to the bottom left. You can take a look. Druids of the Claw now being trained up. There is an Avatar of Vengeance not really doing much of anything as the Death Knight is in position. All right, there is the engagement, and there goes the Druid of the Claw absorbing way too much damage and getting taken out rather fast. All right, it looks as though another Druid of the Claw will get taken down. There it goes. And this is actually an interesting strategy, using the skeletal minions for Dark Ritual to keep high mana on that Lich. The Lich has maintained rather high mana, as the Death Knight, the Death Knight, yes, he does have the Pendant of Energy, and that Pendant of Energy is going to allow for a lot more Death Coils. Warden comes in. Is it going to be able to finish off this this Undead army? Yes, we all have said that the Warden can be a one-man army, but against an army of this size that WFZ has brought, I don't think that solo Warden is going to be enough. All right, let's take a look at this. The Destroyer is still pressuring forward. There goes a Fan of Knives, but I think the GG will be coming in. ZhouXiXi, with nowhere to run, uses the Moonwells, able to barely escape, but now with only nowhere to run, yep, ends up falling back, and there is the GG. We are all tied up at 1 game apiece. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.